Welcome to FNF Victory Road Team Analysis. This is a series in which I analyze the teams of the participants of the FNF Victory Road Draft League. Sometimes it'll just be me talking with answers supplied via DM from the coaches, and sometimes I'll have an interview with the coaches themselves. Today, I am lucky to be interviewing a coach via voice chat. This is Colin from Appletun Allegiance.
Hello.
So Colin is going to talk about his awesome journey through the Victory Road Draft League. And I think there's a lot to be said, especially considering how you came in and how you came out and all of that. So we're listening to the Pokemon Black and White Victory Road theme, which is the best Victory Road. And we have those introductions, those transitions to really show that journey. So right now we're gonna first talk about. Well, first let's talk about your logo, because you actually drew that yourself, and we have a little we have a little history, me and you, of you were like Flapples better, and I was like I like Appletun better. And then over time, we did our like Flapple and Appletun battles, and then over time, you came to realize, okay, Appletun's cool, and now our stance is officially that they're equal, right? I think that's where we last left off.
Yeah. I think it was more about that, like in the 1v1s, I went 3-2, and that you won. So Appletun is technically better. Technically.
that those were fun. That was a fun little Appletun versus Flabble. But yeah, so
I
go ahead.
decided to change it because I was playing Gen 8 right at the beginning of the league, so I just decided to use Appletun because I thought it was cool.
Yeah, Appletun. I don't play Gen 8 meta that much, but like Appletun, I think would probably be a sleeper pick, to be honest.
I don't know what tier it is in. I think it's in like UU or RU, but I'm not sure.
I'd say at least not OU. It's definitely not an
OU. Yeah.
Unfortunately, people just haven't
woken
up. Yeah, people need to wake up and wake up and smell the apples.
Well, I mean, Flapple's hustle's not really getting anywhere, even though Durant is good as well.
Durant definitely can utilize it a little bit better, I think. But anyways, back to the league. We have your initial team here. So this is the first team that you drafted. So I'm just going to ask, overall, generally, what was your mindset when you were drafting this team?
Well, I didn't know what I was doing, really. Because the last league didn't go well at all, so I just drafted stuff that looked good on paper, which is why I used like all of my trades and all of my transactions, because it was good on paper, but some of it just didn't work well in conjunction. It was pretty good, but I drafted stuff that looked good for its tier. I remember you telling me that some of this stuff was good, like Megalopony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were like, it's really, really good, so I just drafted it because you said so, and it ended up just, killing stuff.
Yeah, Megalopony does that.
I drafted Heatran because I've watched a lot of, Showdown videos, and I heard a lot that Heatran was very good in the meta, and he's just good in general, so I drafted that. And with Greninja, I had higher expectations than I probably should have for Torrent Greninja.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really tell because I was just going off of the viability rankings on just regular Smogon and Showdown. So I thought that Torrent Greninja was also really good. And then Dragouge is really good. I think it's a sleeper pick, and it's like basically budget Eternatus, which is a Gen 8 legendary Pokemon. But I think it's way better than it's let on. If it had a reliable recovery, it'd be probably really high. And then I drafted that because I needed a special attacker and a dragon. And that was neutral to fairy type. Decidueye I thought was stronger than it actually was in week 1, but then it ended up actually being good for me in the later weeks. And then Rotom-Mow, I don't even know why I drafted Rotom-Mow.
It worked out for you, especially in the playoffs, as we'll see.
Yeah. It also would have been good week 1, but I brought Decidueye because I overestimated it. Scrafty is my favorite Pokemon, so that's why I drafted that, even though I didn't really need a fighting or dark type at that point. And then Voltorb, I got that because Roland got not to, and I didn't want him to be the only one with
an orb.
Yeah. And then Ninetales Alola, this was pre-season. I was watching one of the battles, and I watched someone get destroyed because of Auroraville. Someone got absolutely messed up by Auroraville, so I decided that I would get it because Auroraville just looked so good. And then Rabombi, Sticky Webs, Walrein was just fat, and I used it as a tank in like the one battle that I used it. If I even did, I don't remember.
I think you did use it once.
Yeah, but I used it as a tank. And then Camerupt, Stealth Rock, Fire, Ground type, very useful. It's my electric immunity, which did help a lot in a couple weeks, and it actually really pulled its weight.
Yeah, out of all the Pokemon you had, obviously Megalopony I think performed the best. But in terms of like tier placement versus performance, I think Camerupt was your best because it just did so well compared to what people expect from it. You know,
there were a couple of weeks where it was definitely more valuable than Lopunny in that matchup, especially like Tiller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did amazing in that match. So it sounds like you kind of drafted some Pokemon keeping the results of those Pokemon in mind from like other people's usage of them.
Yeah, I think the preseason was helpful in seeing some of the strength of some of the Pokemon that I drafted, and also just outside experience from just watching competitive Pokemon videos and stuff.
That's interesting. I'm actually wondering if maybe this season will then influence your picks next season.
It definitely will. Definitely will.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that goes.
Especially my own team. I do like a lot of these, but I'm not going to say which ones.
Yeah, I think you've definitely grown comfortable with a lot of them and how they're used. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You did change your team a lot, and actually you were the person who changed their team the most. So we'll also
who used all of the transactions and trades.
Yeah. So we'll also go over those exchanges down the line. But now we're actually going to go into your battle record overall. So you ranked second in a tie with Quest. Technically, for the regular season, it's a tie. And then into the playoffs, you actually got second over Quest because you won the individual match versus him.
I'm blown out.
So, well, let's focus on the battle record, like the overall trend. So, first of all, how do you think you did overall?
I think it was good because of how bad I did in the preseason. This is amazing compared to that. I'm really proud of this. 8-2.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of green.
I was remembering at the beginning of the season where I thought I was just going to be happy to get a positive differential on one Pokemon. And I didn't even need to win. I just needed a positive differential on one Pokemon.
I think when you realized too that you could win, it became easier for you to get into the mindset of being able to win.
Yeah, definitely. And also preseason and like maybe the first couple games, I didn't really know how to team build that well. And then it got better. Like after week 1 or week 2, I got much better at team building, I think. And that helped out a lot in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I think as you went on, your team building skills definitely got better. And you had to build for a variety of different teams. And so, looking at these teams, which one would you say was the one that perhaps you were the most like, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard?
Really, the Star Conquerors.
The Star Conquerors?
Yeah, I was like going with the mindset is definitely going to lose the game. Like, that team is so crazy. The core on that team, the defensive core, that really brought me some trouble. I was really scared of that match.
Yeah, that was a really close one. As you can see by the +1 differential, it really was anybody's game near the end. Was there one matchup that you felt really confident going into? Like, I think my team could handle this team?
Well, I had like 2 of those. I think it was team touching games and Detroit Duns versus. Going into those 2 games, I felt pretty good. I mean, I felt okay about Canopy Defenders, but obviously didn't pan out.
It's actually interesting that you say that you felt good going into Detroit Dunsparces, considering so many people were so. Startoad was name dropped a lot in the team analysis videos of people saying, "Oh my gosh, I was terrified to face Startoad. Startoad's team was so intense." So it's actually interesting that you were comfortable.
Rotom Mo does that to you. Just. It's so good against rain.
Yeah, that's true. Rotom Mo is really, really good against rain. Alright, so we're going to go into the individual matches and just talk a little bit about those. So your first match, you started off the league going against me, actually, Mystical Chain. So this match, what was your thought like about this match, team building for this match?
I had no clue to what to expect because I only knew what like 2 of these Pokemon did.
And the ones I had?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was brutally unaware of how good Hitmontop was against some of my teams. Like some of my members, especially Mega Lopunny, that was annoying. Hitmontop did really well. And you played it really well, and it messed me up a lot because I was unaware that it was so good.
Yeah,
at least against me.
You did really well. Hitmontop definitely was my MVP of that match, combined with Golbat. I think Golbat, it doesn't show in the differential, but Golbat was able to wall a lot. I think you were still like learning the ropes of team building and strategizing, but there was a lot of strategy, and like going over that match, I think the way you played it was really good. Team building, like in the team building department, it might have gone differently with like a little bit of a better team build, but like the way you played what you had was really good. And yeah, I think I already told you that Dragalge was that was the thing I was most scared of, and when it got the crit on my Lottic, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna wall this thing now?
To be honest, like, my main gripe with this team is, looking at your team, the main stuff you actually use to wall a lot of my stuff were my Lodic and Golbat. I remember that fondly. And Rotom Mo would have actually been very good, even though Decidueye did do a really good job of spin blocking.
Yeah.
Him on top, I think that Rotom Mo probably would have proved more useful at fighting your primary defensive core of Golbat and Milotic.
Yeah, and that's also the reason I didn't use Volcarona that much. Volcarona was mostly there for Rotom Mo, but that's why I didn't really use it that much. Also because of the rocks and the spin blocking. Golbat and Milotic. This was also like approaching this battle. I definitely changed throughout the league, but Golbat and Milotic is like one of my favorite defensive cores. And when there's not an electric type Pokemon to mess with them, it's very hard to take it down. So, but you did a really good job in this one, despite the loss. Like I think compared to your performance in the last season, it was pretty good. And I think that carries over moving forward onto the next one actually, where you face Detroit Dunsparces.
Yeah, this one was a lot better. Like, this was my first win, and I was like super happy. Actually, I remember playing this game, and I actually didn't feel that happy after winning this.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I felt like Starto didn't try, and he even said like a couple weeks down the line, I didn't even recognize because I didn't even watch his week 1 match. He recycled his team for this, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, he did.
Pretty sure he said that, and I did not feel good after winning this.
This was definitely pre Startoad glow up. He definitely upgraded, and after this match, I remember him thinking that he was gonna go 0-10, which, LOL.
Well, that's because I won, and I was like 0-5, and he lost to me. So
this is actually a good symbol of where you two were before, because both of you at this point were kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna suck, and then you actually face each other later in the playoffs, and that's like your evolution, both of your evolutions. But we'll get there when we get there. In this one, it was pretty much Mega Lopunny ripped through the team, and then Rotom-Mow cleaned up the rest.
I'm gonna be honest, I was actually scared of Porygon Z the most. I wasn't even really scared of Swampert or Pelipper or any of that. I was just scared of Z Conversion just sweeping me.
Yeah. In terms of that though, you did have Camerupt, which is a good check to that, especially since Porygon Z tends to Z convert into electric. So,
and again, Camerupt special defense is shaky. Like base 70.
It's shaky, but it's usable, as we see versus Tiller later. But yeah. we'll get there. Yeah. But yeah, this was your first win. Pretty good. And we move on to... Actually, next is exchanges. So you did 3 exchanges this week. We'll go over the first one. You exchanged Heatran for Scizor. So what was the reasoning behind that one?
I did not feel like Heatran was very synergistic with my team at all. And I think right before this, I'd watched a video talking about how Scizor was, like, competitively. And it seemed really good, and I thought it might be really helpful to my team. Despite its terrible KD, I think it died at very important times and was a really good sack and did more damage than it was let on to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you didn't play Scizor mostly as a sweeper. It seemed like you played it more as a bulky pivot. So that's probably why it doesn't reflect in the KD as well. But I think this was a good trade for you. I think you really used Scizor a lot better than you did Heatran. Your next trade is Ribombee for Manaphy. This one was definitely a glow up for you. So why'd you go for Manaphy and get rid of Ribombee?
Just Tail Glow. That's it.
2 words, Tail Glow. That's what Manaphy does. It Tail Glows, and...
Why is Tail Glow in usually useless moves?
Why is Tail Glow in usually...
It's in the usually useless moves.
Oh, it is? I didn't know what you're talking about, but in Showdown. That's really bizarre.
It was Acid Armor.
Acid Armor, I could see why, but Tail Glow, that's really weird. Well, you saw that it's usually actually useful. That's so strange. So we have Scrafty for Talonflame.
I immediately regretted it, but then later down the line I didn't.
It's tough trading away your favorite Pokemon, but this like when when Startoad traded away Dunsparce or when Noobscore traded away Braviary, it's like when you trade away the special Pokemon to you, it's like this is how you know things are getting serious because you're like, okay, no, I need to play to win and not. And I do think this was a good trade for you.
Talonflame was my suicide bomb that took out stuff and then died right after.
It took out key threats too, and it had that threat of Gale Wings. So
especially like against some people, it took out like defensive stuff, some of the stuff that could take Lopunny, and then Lopunny just tore them apart.
Yeah, it was a good trade, I think. Overall, really good trades. So you move in with those exchanges having been done into the fight versus Lion Hugs of Wooper Blooper. And in this one, the thing that I remember the most from this one is that you use Mega Lopunny a lot as like a threat versus Mega Gyarados.
You picked the wrong nature, changed the whole game.
I don't even know if it was the wrong nature or the fact that Lion Hugs just forgot that Gyarados
I'm pretty sure
could
it was the wrong
outspeed.
nature because I think no, it wasn't the wrong nature. It might have been, but I think it was the wrong nature.
It might have been the wrong nature. I mean, like that Lopunny really scared Gyarados a lot, and they kept switching out when you switched in Lopunny.
Lopunny lived in Aquatail. I wasn't expecting that. I think everyone forgets that it actually has like okay defenses. It has like 95 and 96.
Yeah, it has decent
special defense.
Yeah.
Its HP stat is bad, but it can take a hit.
Yeah, it could definitely take a hit. Yeah, so this one was pretty much Mega Lopunny threatening, and then also Manaphy being able to psych out Sylveon. I think those were the two key things in this battle that you used to your advantage.
I remember right before this match, I was about to have a heart attack because of Superior. I don't know if you remember, but I was so scared that he would bring Assault Vest or Choice Scarf or Specs or just anything. That was so scary.
And then it turns out Superior wasn't even that much of a problem for you, was it?
I don't remember exactly what it did, but I think it switched in on something that it probably shouldn't have. No, I mean, something died, and then he put it into a position he shouldn't have put it in.
Yeah, I think Mega Gyarados was your biggest threat with Dragon Dance if it had the correct nature to outspeed Mega Lopunny, but overall this was a good match for you, and I think this was the first win that you probably felt really good about.
Yeah, I was actually happy with this one. I felt proud about winning this one.
Yeah, and Lion Hugs is a pretty good opponent, making it into the playoffs, so yeah, this was a good win for you.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we have your match versus Canopy Defenders. This is Edgar's team, and this one was kind of a tough one for you.
I'm gonna be honest. I got outplayed this game. He was ready. All right, he was ready the whole thing. He knew what I was gonna do. He saw the future.
Right from the start with the Crocodile one-hit KO on camera, I think that just defined the pace of the match where that was like Edgar whipping out his like dominance. that was intense. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I wasn't even that scared of fighting him, and then he just blew me out.
Yeah, he did really well. I was
scared, but I wasn't that scared. I was scared of Mimikyu, and it didn't even do anything.
Yeah, Mimikyu didn't do that much. It was mostly...
Oh, wait, yeah, it hit Manaphy with Hammer, and then I was slower, and then I lost
Oh, yeah. But even then, Lilligant could have taken on Manaphy with Quiver Dance.
Yeah, but did it really want to take an Ice Beam?
That's true. I think this one... was this the last one that you had Greninja in? I believe so.
Yeah, Greninja let me down.
Yeah, sorry, Greninja. You're just not that good without protein.
Or Battle Bond.
Or Battle Bond, yeah. But this is actually your only other loss. So moving forward, it's all wins. And after this big defeat, you actually made a couple more trades. This time, Greninja for Rotom Wash. I think we all saw that coming with Greninja going away.
I was very skeptical about this, and I think you were pretty skeptical when I talked to you about making this trade. Like, I wasn't sure this was the right thing to do, but it definitely was.
Yeah, definitely. Rotom Wash became a very valuable player in your team. So I think this was
unfortunate that I activated the species clause, though. I was basically playing down a Pokemon.
Yeah. I think I was unaware at the time that would activate species clause. But
I got rid of Rotom afterwards, but nobody would trade me for it.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, because it was really useful for you in the playoffs.
I also tried to get rid of Decidueye. That also ended up being really important as well.
Yeah, it's a good thing you held on to Decidueye too. But Rotom Wash was definitely a good addition to your team, I think, especially compared to Greninja. Especially because he had Manaphy too. But moving forward, we have Walrein traded away for Audino. And this was also a good trade too, because you used Audino as a really good cleric.
Yeah, I think Lion Hugs even talked about it, and he said I needed a cleric. And that's what I was thinking too. Because I was thinking about fighting Noob Scrub this week. And Audino was the thing I needed, even though I didn't even use him when I played Noob Scrub.
Yeah, and it was very useful with your quest battle as well.
Yeah. These two drafts actually ended up working out really, really well in the quest battle, which was the next week.
Oh, yeah. They both did, actually. Really smart trades. And yeah, we go into the quest battle where after you suffered a -6 loss, you actually got your first, I believe, -6 win. +6 win, I mean. And Rotom Wash really did well. I think in the KD, though, what you don't see is Audino's role, which, if you want to say what item you gave Audino, which was pretty genius.
Safety goggles is like... See, I thought about it after the match, that if I play Quest, I might want to run Safety Goggles Dragouge, but I didn't. But Safety Goggles Audino was very, very useful in switching Rotom out on Amoonguss so that nothing got slept.
Yeah, I agree. It was... And I remember even telling you, I was like, this is so niche. Like, it is very specific. What if Quest doesn't even bring Amoonguss? And you were like, nah, I'm gonna do this. And I was like, well, if it works, it'll really work. If he doesn't bring Amoonguss, it's not gonna work. So that's the risk you paid, but you took, but it paid off. It was a very impressive battle.
I think losing to Edgar really put me into gear this week.
Kind of like a little wake-up call.
Yeah, I was a little lazy last week. I did not try that hard in team building against Edgar. I did not try super hard. Not to discredit him or anything. He still played incredibly well, but I don't think I tried as hard against Edgar as I did against Quest.
Yeah, I think you really put your all into this one, and it really showed. And it carries through the rest of the league too, as we see moving forward. Also, Rotom Wash got MVP in this match versus Quest for how much it was able to do. You used it really well as a pivot, as a calling out some of those switches, like hitting those Hydro Pumps on Jolteon, and generally using it for support. So it was an all-round mon, and I think it really deserved the MVP slot this week.
Yeah, I do too. I think I was going to be unhappy if it didn't, but it did.
And it definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
And at this point, you were also still naming your Pokemon after the DK rap lyrics.
I'm being completely honest, I just forgot to do it in the upcoming weeks. Like, I was going to keep doing it, but I forgot to.
Well, you managed to get through the chorus, I'm pretty sure,
yeah.
So that's what counts.
Up to, like, I forget the name. Yeah, we can move on.
It was a second Kong, wasn't it, I think? That
yeah,
you stopped
it was
at?
the second
Yeah.
one.
Tiny.
Yeah.
But next is versus Tiller. And Tiller was a really hard opponent, but you managed to score the upset. And this was one of the closest games in the entire league. You ended up with Camerupt, I think, with like 7% or something like that.
It was 8%.
8%. So in this one, you were kind of trading back and forth a lot, but you successfully used bulk versus Tiller. You went hyper offense and bulk at the same time, so kind of balanced. And you managed to beat him with that, which is impressive because it's hard to run balance versus Tiller. I speak from experience. So
this part is running Megalopony is death to fodder by accident.
Yeah, losing Megalopony. But Camerupt made up for it, and Camerupt really shined this week, especially at the end.
I remember I was sitting in my chair, and it was like Raichu used Psychic, and I slumped in my chair so hard. You could probably like hear it across the street. I slumped very hard because I thought I lost, but then Camerupt lived, and I won.
Yeah, Camerupt pulled through.
Yeah, I was like, thank God I drafted Camerupt.
Words you'd never think you'd hear in the beginning of a league, but then become relevant later on. Yeah, Camerupt really did you well this match. It was a really good match. I really enjoyed watching that one.
I'm not going to draft Mega Camerupt, but someone next week definitely should.
Well, you never know. Maybe. Actually, spoiler alert, leak, Mega Camerupt is a Pokemon I have my eyes on for next league. We'll see how it goes, but maybe. You never know. So we got Elemental Dragons up next. And in this one, it was actually pretty much a near clean sweep by Megalopony until Smeargle came out.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I remember this game. It was really late, and I was tired, and I started panicking. It was really, really hard whenever Smeargle came out. I was like, "What am I gonna do to beat Smeargle?" And I had no clue what I was gonna do to beat Smeargle until it just died.
Your advantage versus Smeargle was that you had a lot of Pokemon. Like, Smeargle took down 3 of your Pokemon, sure, but you still had a lot left. So, Endeavor Extreme Speed Destiny Bond can only get you so far. You can't take a whole team down with it. So, that was your advantage in this match after Megalopony wrecked through the team. It was only a matter of time.
Worst, and I just didn't send Ninetales, and Ninetales just killed Smeargle with Hail anyways, and I still won by +1.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to do that.
I didn't think about it. I forgot that I had Snow Warning.
But still, it was a good performance. And then we move into Star Conquerors, which was the team that you were most scared to face, I think. So in this one, it was very close. It actually came down to Passimian being locked into knockoff, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Passimian being locked into knockoff, and then Megalopony was able to take it down. So what about this team? Which Pokemon in particular really intimidated you from this team?
Passimian.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, Passimian was tough for your team.
Passimian just comes in, revenge kills, leads. Like, he wouldn't win by much, but he would still win 99 times out of 100. I think I got very lucky that he forgot that he was choice locked and knocked off in excitement. Then I had rocks up and he just died. Yeah,
Passimian was really intense. That was a really close one. I think well played from both sides, and won by a hair, but still won. Moving forward, and then this is where you begin your strong finish of the league, because I think you only have 2 matches left. The first one versus Bayside Divers, which again was another Megalopony sweep. I think once you got
foreshadowing set up with Talonflame taking out the only thing that could stop Megalopony.
Yeah, you got rid of Luxray, and then that's when Megalopony was able to just go to town.
Also, I think that him not scarfing Staraptor really helped.
Yeah.
My differential.
Yeah, Staraptor could have done some damage if it was scarfed, but Megalopony was able to take it down before it hit.
Yeah.
So that was a strong win by you, and then before the last battle, you made one final trade, which was Manaphy for Kyurem Black. And why did you make this trade?
Because Kyurem Black is good.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't have anything else to say. Kyurem Black is good. I will say, however, that I was very unaware that it had no ice, like physical ice stab moves when I got it. So that was a little unfortunate. Like, why can't we play Gen 8 where it has Dragon Dance and Icicle Spear?
It would be an Ubers if it had that in Gen 7. Oh, well, there you have it. Yeah, that's why it's not in Ubers. Still an incredibly good Pokemon, very good for the hyper offense. And I think as you moved on in the league, you grew more and more hyper offensive. And you fell into that playstyle more often than not. And I think it suits you.
Something a little unfortunate is in another league, they have Kyurem Black unbanned, and they let it use Dragon Dance and Icicle Spear.
That's intense. That's really intense. Kyurem Black is already a menace without those things, so...
170 base attack.
Yeah, that thing doesn't play.
Neither does the Decidueye.
Oh yeah, coming up to Decidueye, you were able to beat Noob Scrub with Decidueye, and Decidueye was able to use... we talked a little bit, Noob Scrub and I, in his team analysis video on how Substitute was really like the bane of his team's existence. And you use Substitute both on Decidueye and Kyurem Black, I believe. And that was what I think part of what made you able to win so handily versus this team.
That and Poop on Bound not coming to just kill Decidueye instantly.
Yeah, because Hyperspace Hole. Yeah, that would have definitely changed things, but without that, Decidueye was able to curse and roost and PP stall and do all the fun things.
I'm gonna be honest, it could have been a 6-0 sweep, but I did Synthesis instead of Roost.
Oh yeah, because Roost has more PP.
That's double the PP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you look at my moves at the end of the game, I had actually almost PP stalled every single one of my moves to 0. Like, yeah. I had 4 on like 2 moves.
I was looking at your PP of your moves, and yeah, can confirm. But yeah, so this is a strong performance by Decidueye, a really creative set, but it worked out for you. And that actually led to Decidueye being the MVP of Week 10, which meant that...
also told me not to bring it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, Decidueye... Stall versus stall isn't a good idea. I think part of the reason it also did really well was that Noob Scrub didn't really go stall this week. He tried to go more bulky offense this week because I think he was trying to test out that playstyle for next league. So I think that also benefited because of the fact that you didn't have to face another stall team.
It also... when he pulled out the Venusaur and got +4.
Yeah, so
I was gonna lose. He just switched it out for some reason. I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
He was in Trick Room +4. Everything was going well, and then he just left. Because I think he said he was afraid of getting burned by Rotom.
Oh, yeah. That might have been why. Well... I think he has learned a lot from his matches, definitely, and yeah, you definitely used Decidueye good well, I mean, in the latter parts of the regular season.
Yeah, happy with that one.
And speaking of which, the regular season, this is the end of the regular season. We see your Pokemon scores up now, and just looking at the usage, you did use all the Pokemon that you ended up with at least once. You didn't use Ribombee or Scrafty.
Well, Scrafty and Ribombee both were, I think, well, more so Scrafty was just overshadowed by other parts of my team.
Yeah.
And then Ribombee I couldn't find much use because it just instantly died, and I already had Ninetales having to set up stuff.
Yeah.
Like Auroraville, and then if you look at the usage rates, only I think 3 reach are higher than 50%.
Yeah, 70, 80, and 90, which is Ninetales, Camerupt, and Megalopony.
Somehow Camerupt made it to 80% usage.
Hey, and +3 differential. I'm telling you, Camerupt was one of your better Pokemon in this league in how you used it. Megalopony finishing in a third place tie for the most kills, the highest differential, and it had a lot of kills, one of the most. So I think Megalopony is a Pokemon through this league that became very near and dear to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I recommended it to you. I think that you did a good job with it, and I think that you formed a bond with Megalopony, and some of the other Pokemon on your team too. Camerupt probably as well. That is good, and you could carry on to future leagues, knowing both how to use it and how to face it.
The thing is, Voltorb has a better differential than 2 of my Pokemon that I used the whole season.
Voltorb has a better differential than Scizor, which is hilarious to me.
And again, just look at the gap in usage, and then you'll see why.
Yeah.
Also, Scizor's killed itself a lot of times, just sacked.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna ask, what was, I think, your favorite Pokemon to use? I think it's pretty clearly Megalopony, I'm gonna guess.
I like Rotom too. Rotom Wash and Rotom
Wash.
Roll.
And Rotom
Very fun. Very, very fun.
Yeah, you use them all pretty well. Obviously, Megalopony being the best one for you. Was there a Pokemon that you just didn't like using on your team?
Well, there's a reason why I used all my trades and transactions.
So basically the ones that you traded away.
Except for Scrafty. I like using Scrafty. If I had to pick someone who was still on my team, it would be Voltorb, but Voltorb was more of a meme pick anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, you effectively had 10 Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I also like using Dragalge too.
Oh yeah, Dragalge was really good for you. Decidueye was good for you in the latter parts too. It was not so good for you in the beginning, but that latter portion it did really well. So yeah, overall looking really good. Only 2 Pokemon in the negative. A lot of Pokemon with pretty decent differentials. Yeah. And well, I guess 4 in the negative, but you traded away 2 of them. So at the end, 2 in the negative. Yeah. So overall, pretty solid. And you moved into the semifinals with that final team. And your first match was versus Quest. You actually started in the semifinals because you were able to edge out Quest by winning the match versus Quest in the regular season, even though you were tied in differential. So you started in semifinals instead of quarterfinals. So you faced Quest, and your first match, we'll talk about the first match. So what was your approach? We'll talk in general and the first match. What was your approach to facing Quest?
So I'm going to be completely honest. I completely forgot what my approach was supposed to be. I was totally lost in both of these battles.
Well, I think you were pretty nervous about Hydreigon.
Yeah, definitely that. Because it could run Z Dragon. It could also run Scarf. It could also run Specs. It could be a bulky pivot. It could even be physical.
It could go mixed.
And it could hit at least like basically everything super effectively.
And it could go Assault Vest.
Yeah. So I was scared because I was like, what is it gonna do?
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the big things about Hydreigon. It's very unpredictable. There's some things that you could prepare for that are like more likely and more lethal, but yeah, it could really do anything. Megalopony, I think, is good for you in this matchup. But Hitmonlee, once it got the curse up, that's when like it seemed like that was it. You did do something smart and switch out Megalopony to get the fake out while it close combated itself to lower defenses, but it wasn't enough to bring down Hitmonlee. But that was the best plan at the end there, to be able to try and get that thing down.
I don't remember. Was I in like equal footing? Was I in max health and it was at max health? And it didn't curse yet?
No, you brought it in to fake out when it had already cursed. I forgot who it cursed versus though.
I'm like pretty sure I switched Megalopony out when it cursed. And I have a reason why, if that's exactly what happened.
I don't exactly remember.
Because if it was Megalopony and it was on the switch out, I was afraid of like Choice Scarf.
Yeah.
I was also afraid of Focus Sash on Burden, which is completely too irrational. I was just too in my own head at the end of this game.
I mean, there were both options. Definitely. Yeah, I think Hitmonlee was hard for your team to handle. In general, I noticed just a trend. Fighting types is one of the types that made probably the most threat to your team.
That's why I brought Decidueye to this game.
And then second battle, you changed. What did you change? You changed Talonflame and Ninetales Alola were the Pokemon you added. You took out Audino and Decidueye, and then Quest took out Amoonguss and Broad and Crobat. I think all three of you did a good job in all three switches were good switches. It definitely accelerated the pace of the matches more, and yeah, Quest did win this one as well. And what did you feel after this match?
I actually didn't feel bad about losing this match. I was fine with losing this match. Like both matches in this set. Even though I blew him out in the regular season, I think he came back with a vengeance and he earned this win. Like, he deserved this one. He played really, really well.
Yeah, he's a very formidable opponent. He does some really good plays, especially after being shut out by you in the regular season. So it was definitely a good set for him, and I think even for you, you've come a long way. Even though you lost this one, you definitely have shown like what you were able to do, and I think that was evident, especially in this next set coming up, the third place determiner set, where you faced Detroit Dunsparces. And this was kind of like both of you have undergone the evolution in the regular season, and now you are here, new and improved. And this first match, you actually lost this one. I think Clefairy was like... that was just the most unexpected useful Pokemon for him.
I want to say one thing before I start actually talking about what happened. I want to thank Lion Hugs because he helped me so much preparing for this set. Like, he helped me run calcs and all of that for this.
Yeah, Lion Hugs is a really good team builder, especially over the course of the league. Like, in the beginning, like not knowing as much, just like you, but then over the course of the league, Lionhugs was really able to improve as well. And I've seen that with so many people. So yeah, definitely a good person in team building.
And in this game, I was on my computer and I was practicing on my phone. So when I tried to send my sets over to my computer, I messed some of them up in this game. It was a little bit unfortunate. Like, Dragalge had Black Sludge instead of Assault Vest. And I forget what all the other items were, but I know I messed up some spreads and I messed up some movesets. I remember I'd substitute on Megalopony and not return.
Oh, interesting.
And like, I messed up some of the spreads, items, and moves on this game. I will say, Star Toad capitalized very well on that. So, good job to him for doing well.
I think he was able to use Clefairy really well too, because you probably weren't expecting Clefairy.
I was talking to Lionhugs the night before the game. I was like, if he brings Clefairy, I'm gonna Iron Head it. And then I didn't bring Iron Head.
On Cure and
Black.
Black.
I didn't expect it to come.
Yeah, that's that unexpected. Going unexpected in League can be very useful. But second time around, it wasn't unexpected because he had already used it to great success. So he wasn't able to use it as well because of the Iron Head on Cure and Black. This battle was basically defined by one moment, and it's when you called out the Swampert switch-in.
He was getting very comfortable with that switch-in.
Yeah.
He was like overly comfortable doing that to electric moves. So I called it out, and then basically what this game defines exactly what I want in a team. Punch holes in others, or in his walls, and then finish it off with Megalopony.
Yeah. And Megalopony was that really good finisher, getting all 6 KOs and not dying in the process. Once Swampert was down, that was it.
Yeah.
So this was like the change of pace match, and so you had a win in that one, and then in this next one you also got the win, this time not from Megalopony, but from using Rotom Mow and Kyurem Black. And you actually didn't change any Pokemon. He only changed Clefairy for Weezing, because I think he caught on that you expected Clefairy now. And Rotom Mow is really good, like you said, versus his Pelipper, Mega Swampert, and Celesteela core. But Kyurem Black was the true star of this show because it was able to stall out the rain. Did you invest in HP and defense?
I have the team right here. I gotta go find it, but I was max HP and 92 defense.
Yeah, that thing was very hard to take down for Mega Swampert.
Yeah, I was worried. Like, I think game 1, I might have forgot to change the item, but it had Chople Berry to take a superpower, which he didn't even bring.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to bring superpower because Mega Swampert likes sweeping, and superpower hampers that. But you did really well, especially with Kyurem Black in that game, and I think that this game is the game that said, "Hey, this was a good exchange."
Yeah.
So
I need to thank King Fuse for that. Thank you, King Fuse.
Yeah, he pulled through.
Black.
He also offered me Clefable because I had been asking him for Clefable so much, but I decided I wanted to go in with my original team to try and win it all. So I declined, but I was very thankful for him for offering it because I thought that was really nice of him. So you finished off strong in the league, and you got that 3rd place from the 3rd place determiner match, winning 2 sets versus Detroit Dunsparces, which is a hard team to face. And yeah, so you finished off 3rd place, really good, especially compared to the seed placement that you had, which was seed 14 based on the preseason. So you definitely improved a lot. And with that, I wanted to ask, how has your approach to Pokemon changed throughout this league?
definitely never using Sandstream Hippopotamus ever again. And I'm not sure if I ever will run Sand, but I might retry again some other league, because now that I've gotten better, I might be able to utilize it to a fuller potential. And I think that Pokemon is a game where it's really hard at the start, but once you get past some of the earlier learning barriers, it's actually very challenging, but it's also really fun.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like chess, where you have to predict all these things, and there's a lot to it that people don't see looking from the outside in until they get their hands dirty and see all the possible combinations and stuff.
I'm just remembering that Crobat has Inner Focus and Infiltrator. I wouldn't.
Yeah, like little things like that. I mean, like in my final battle with Quest, where I didn't remember that Rapid Spin freed me of Whirlpool.
I didn't know that.
I knew that, and then I didn't, and then I remembered after the fact. But yeah, it's all those little things. But you definitely have grown in knowledge. I think in confidence too. I remember at the beginning, you just, especially after facing me, you just seemed like you were like, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna make it to playoffs. I'm gonna do pretty poorly, and I actually was able to practice with you during the regular season, and we practiced each week together, and obviously aside from the week you faced me, but being able to practice with you each week, I saw you firsthand grow a lot, and I'm very proud of how much you've grown, not just in Pokemon, but in your mindset, and I think that's very important. And I'm very much looking forward to the next league, where you'll most likely be Seed 3 instead of 14, and we'll definitely be able to face each other again with different teams, and it'll be really fun.
Hopefully I can get first place next week.
We'll see. I mean, anything's possible, and it's going to be a new day, and you won't have that period, I think, in the beginning where you're like, what do I do? You know?
Also, that period makes me admire Roland as a person. That is insane resilience.
Yeah, he is very resilient, and he has amazing sportsmanship. I'm really glad that he joined the league, and that he's on the server, and that he's a mod, and he's awesome. Shout out to Sir Roland. What else did I want to ask? Did you have any thoughts about any other of the teams or of the structure of the league as a whole?
So obviously your team, unexpected. I didn't like. It didn't look like it would be that good, but then it was good. Same with Quest's team, but that's probably more because I didn't know that many of the Pokemon and what they did. So his team was very unexpectedly good. Like, I was looking at what Delmise did at the beginning of the match because I had no clue what it actually did.
Well, now that the league is done, I guess I could tell you, after the match that he faced your Rotom Wash, I believe it was after, that's when he made the trade for Delmise, because he was like, if I have to face Colin in playoffs, I'm going to get Delmise. So he actually got Delmise, I think, to counter your team.
Oh, well, he's like, why didn't you expect Delmise? I was like, oh, I didn't think you used it that much, but that was just me not watching videos.
Yeah, he got it specifically to counter your team, so I think that's probably why he thought you would expect it.
I didn't even know he traded it. I thought he had it at the beginning of the league.
Yeah, he traded it at Porygon 2 for it, actually.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was pretty far off. The league lasted a while. I mean, this has been months, so it's funny to think about now because it all feels like it happened so fast. But yeah, overall, I'm very proud. I think you did amazing in this league. You exceeded all expectations that you had on yourself, and hopefully, going into the next league, you carry that with you, and you have more confidence, and you continue improving and cultivating those things that you've learned, because I think you're going to do really well in the next one too.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that is pretty much the team analysis video. I don't know if you have any other thoughts that you wanted to add.
No, not really. I think I covered pretty much everything that I had to say.
All right. Well, that was Appletun Allegiance, Colin from Appletun Allegiance, and third place in the league. Pretty good performance, especially considering where he was coming in and where he finished off. Really proud. Great growth. And thank you so much for joining me in this league and also in this team analysis video. So we're going to end here, and tune in for more team analysis videos coming soon. I only have 3 more left, Startoad, Quest, and myself, of course. So tune in for that, and it'll be coming soon.